What's going on, everybody? It's me, Brandon, back again with another video, and today I wanted to go ahead and talk about Nintendo's new idea about introducing virtual game cards. This is something that I thought was actually really interesting, and they're trying to streamline the idea of what happens when you have a physical game and how you can lend it to, say, a friend or family member. And now that if you owned this digitally, this turns into about the same thing in a digital way. It's very interesting. It's very complex in a way, but I feel like Nintendo is trying to do a solid effort of being like, hey, we're really gonna streamline this thing, and we're going to figure it out to where when the Switch 2 comes out, and we're having a whole big direct next week about the Switch 2, once that gets out of the way and pre-orders go for the system or what have you, I think they want a very headache-free transfer of your Switch games to your Switch 2. And I feel like that's what these virtual game cards are. So what a game card is basically the digital version of the game you have. They are turned into a quote-unquote virtual card. So if I bought the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting game collection digitally, this gets turned into a digital card. This gets dropped, and they're adding a whole new little section on the Switch home panel later next month, and you have basically a card for each and every one of your games. And if you have family accounts, you can go ahead and you can transfer them. You can lend them to your family for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, if they decided, I'm done, or I never got to finish that last boss fight, automatically back on your system. It's a really interesting concept, and as somebody who has an entire digital library of Nintendo Switch games, this was like an exception, and a couple other games, but like mostly I have all digital titles. Like I don't even own this digitally on the Switch. I just bought this because I wanted a physical version of this awesome case and stuff, but that is besides the point. The virtual game card, I think, is really trying to streamline how the younger audience can see digital games, how people who have physical games can try and break down the idea of like, well, if I want to go digital and I have kids or I have family members, or maybe I share, or you have friends on your home sharing, this is going to give you an option to go ahead and do the sharing with your games. And I think it's an interesting idea. I want to see how it's used. I don't do a family plan on Switch. It's just me. So this doesn't really do much for me, but I think in terms of like transferring my titles to the Switch 2, maybe they're looking at this as a simple quick fix. But it's really interesting. Really, really interesting. I'm not entirely sure like how this is all going to go about. And next week, like I said, we're getting the big Nintendo Switch 2 video. We're going to probably see more of the hardware. We're probably going to see some of the launch games. On the direct today, they showed Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We got a couple new announcements, which was really exciting, but nothing crazy. Like we saw Pokemon ZA, and I think they're keeping everything very under wraps for next week, because that's going to be big. That's huge, and especially if the rumors are true for a June release for the Switch 2, that is basically all I've been looking forward to the last year and a half when it turns to like new video games and content and stuff like that. I'm so ready for the next Switch, as the Switch has become easily one of my favorite consoles ever. I still play it. There's still some games I will buy again just to have on the portability. The Switch just works right away. It just works. And I love the system. I love Nintendo's IP, and I think this virtual card thing is a very interesting step for Nintendo, and I'm very curious to see what happens when they work on some more of this stuff. So that's just a quick video. I'm not going to do a Nintendo Direct reaction because I did see it at work, and I would rather tackle a lot of those subjects and everything after the big Nintendo Direct next week with the Switch 2, of course. So please let me know in the comments down below what you think about the Nintendo virtual game cards. I think it's really interesting. But that is it for this episode today. I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, my name is Brandon, and I will see you all next time.